What is up everyone, this is Makio, and today I'm going to show you a couple of basic tips and tricks on how to get your first grinds on inline skates. Before I'm going to put on the skates myself, I'm just going to go through some basics, which is if you have just any aggressive inline skate out there, you're going to have the groove right here, which is right in the middle, and you're going to have your sole plate, which is the regular sole plate and the negative, so the inside of your foot, right? So today I'm going to go through the most basic tricks, very entry level, which are going to consist of the regular sole plate and the groove. So step one, before you're going to get into grinding itself, make sure that you're comfortable with just rolling around and doing some low jumps without losing a lot of stability or control. That way it makes it way easier to get into grinding, and you're going to miss a lot of grinds at first, but it's not going to be a big deal if you're comfortable with just basic jumping and rolling around. Then also choose a spot that you're comfortable with. There's usually the two options of flat ledge or rail, and both are very great options to get into grinding. Both have their advantages and disadvantages. I'm gonna do both spots today, but I'm gonna start at the ledge, and before I even jump on this ledge, I'm gonna make sure that it's waxed properly. Don't try to work around a spot that is not sliding at all. In the end, you wanna slide over the spot. You don't wanna actually have to work through it. And what makes grinding so much fun is the ability to slide fast. And if you go fast on a very slow spot, chances are just you're gonna get hurt. You're gonna get stuck, and after all, it's not really a lot of fun, and it requires you to do very unnatural movements in order to actually make it all the way through. So make sure to wax your spot properly. That goes for the rail and the ledge, but for the ledge specifically, make sure that you're at least, if you lay your hand like this on the ledge, make sure it's at least this wide, it's waxed at least this far up onto the ledge. So if you have the edge here, gonna make sure it's gonna go over there. Why? That is because you might have smaller wheels on the inside, you might have same size wheel as on the outside, doesn't matter, but your inside will eventually touch on the top. It's depending on what trick you're gonna do, and if that happens, you want to make sure that you're gonna slide. And also, even if you don't have any wheels in the middle, the plastic is still gonna touch fairly far up onto the ledge, so you only want to touch waxed, waxed part of the ledge. So better be safe than sorry. If you're gonna miss, obviously you can slip on the wheels, but it doesn't really matter, because if you get the right approach to grinding, you don't slip away. It's just gonna be a bit awkward, but not dangerous or anything like that. So make sure to wax it properly, make sure to wax the top and also the side, because if you're gonna do a trick on the sole plate, you're gonna be up on here like this, and the frame on the side is gonna touch. So make sure to wax at least this far down. Always make sure to maybe do just a centimeter further down and a centimeter further on the flat. And that's it for the ledge. As far as it goes for the rail, just make sure that you have one layer on top and on each side, because same thing here, you're gonna be touching here and on the side. And usually, in order to keep a trick on sole plate, you want to be leaning in a little. So that means you're gonna have to touch more of the sides of the rail. Make sure to wax it properly. That way it's just gonna be more fun once you get the hang of grinding. I got my skates on, I got the spot waxed properly, and so we're gonna just start by naming the few basic tricks that we have, which is right here, the Makio, which is just, I'm gonna use the right foot. You can do left foot. If you can just like mirror the tricks, it's gonna be exactly the same. All those tricks are gonna be facing forward. So I'm gonna have the Makio, which is like, in my case, right foot, because my right foot is a strong foot, right foot on top. And you can instantly see, like, as I'm standing on, I'm trying to like lean in like this. Like I'm trying to lean on the edge of the spot. I'm gonna get into that further, but for now, just let's start with the names. Makio, Soul, Acid, P-Star, Mizou. You can tell Makio is the leading foot here, and everything else is just like following along. Like these are just accessories to the trick, but they are pretty significant when it comes to the stance and how to properly execute those tricks. And by properly execute, I don't mean like style-wise, but just like technically on how you get the best result, on how to like get it to actually like go all the way through to get more control out of the trick. And also what I'm gonna get into, which is a very good introduction trick, which was actually my first trick to learn, is the frontside, which is just like rolling straight onto the spot and having both your feet like basically neutral. So let's start with the Makio. The Makio, as you can tell, is the easiest trick to start because you only have the one foot. You can always try to like just roll next to the spot and just like get the feeling of your skate. It's the first few times it's going to be very weird because if you've never like experienced this before, just like getting the feel of it, like where do you actually have to jump on, how big is like the sole plate, and how close are you to the spot, like how much plastic is in between your foot and the spot. So you're gonna do that a couple times, make sure that you're gonna feel good, and then you can like roll next to it and hold the foot up. Roll just like this next to the spot. And at some point you're gonna feel like, yeah, I'm actually like sliding on here, and the foot that's on the ground is gonna lose a bit of the weight, and you're just gonna try to lean over, like have your hip exactly over the spot. This is the ideal position that you wanna go for. So if you're just gonna stall, so like just stand here, put the foot up here, and try to have your hip like centered over the spot. Hip is gonna completely face forward. And ideally, and then you're gonna feel this in your quads, you're gonna try to lean your foot in like this. You're gonna try to bend your knees a bit and then lean over. As far as it comes for the knees, just bend as far as you feel comfortable with. It shouldn't hurt. And some people are like more like naturally more comfortable being low like this, and some are like very far up. Just know you have your three very important joints, which is the ankle, the knees, and the hips. If one of those three joints doesn't do or does less work than the others have to make up for it. So if you're gonna do less in the knees, you gotta make it up with the ankle usually. So standing up like this and having the hips centered over the spot guarantees you to like actually be able to to do a trick all the way through the ledge. It's not about speed, it's basically just about the right stance. Don't worry about speed, especially at the beginning. Go as fast as you feel comfortable with. Don't feel pressured to go fast or anything. You wax the spot properly, so it's gonna be sliding anyways. And just be, all right, this is very dangerous. But just try to do like this. And this feels pretty ideal to me because I can, even though I'm standing on the spot afterwards, I basically decide when I get off the spot. So that's basically it. Also, it is very inviting to do so, but always try not to jump off with one foot and then lift the other, but try to jump with both feet. That is, of course, after you feel comfortable with this trick. Getting into the next one is the sole grind. I'm not going to do every trick like as specific as the first one, but the sole grind especially is very important because for most people it's the most convenient and confident grind there is. So I'm going to get into that with a bit more detail now. So basically it's just the Makio, and you're gonna add your other foot, in my case the left foot, to the top, toes facing onto the spot. And one thing that you might notice when you try it yourself is that your hips are automatically like leaning in, like turning towards the spot. Not like fully, you're not like fully facing here, because that way you're gonna lose your back foot. But it's gonna naturally turn, say like 2 o'clock on the spot. This is exactly where you want to be. If you find yourself having troubles like getting the left foot up properly like this, that is usually because the hip is like still facing completely forward, which is not what you're supposed to do. Try to get the stance right. Try to get a bit in, like into the knees. And then getting your hip, 2 o'clock on the spot is exactly right, in my opinion. So this slight hip turn makes it way easier, in my opinion, to like lean onto the spot exactly how I want to. And it makes it easier for my front foot to be fully turned. That way, both my feet are completely locked in. Makes it way easier for me also to like bend down my knees, get down low on the trick, and just basically feel safer. If I do that in a quick motion, it's just, I'm leaning over now, but I'm just gonna do it. And that's about it. For most people, this trick feels the most natural, because if you're gonna like swing your front foot onto the spot, you're usually gonna be in a sole position. I'm gonna do this point of view shot too, because I think it's important to see how it's gonna look from the top. So I usually like to approach slight angle for all the tricks I just mentioned. So for all the regular sole plate tricks, but also for the front side. If you feel more comfortable approaching like just like completely parallel to the spot, or like at a full angle, go however you like and just go with how it feels. As I jump on, I focus on the ledge, and as my feet are going up, I look down to my feet. I always look down on my feet when I am trying to lock on the trick, because I need to see where my feet are. It's very important. Make sure, I've seen people always like focusing on the last bit of the spot, which is good once you're on the trick, but also make sure to look down when you jump on to make sure to see where your feet are going. And so this is what I'm talking about. Like this, I am right now fully on the spot, leaning on, like a bit exaggerated right here, but this is exactly what I want. Like this. One more time, just for the Makio. I'll roll up, look down, jump off. That one felt really good because I could like really control how far am I actually like leaning over. Again, square ledge takes more effort, takes more physical power to actually lean over like this, but it's gonna be more rewarding. So just one more. All right. The other one right here would be the acid, which is having your toes facing away from the spot. And you're gonna notice one thing. If you try to do this, and have your hip leaning towards this, it feels very awkward. It feels more like you're doing a sort of exercise. That's because your hip is gonna rotate towards the direction of your assisting foot, in that case the left foot. So my foot is facing outside and my hip is naturally facing forward again. Also, don't worry, at first this position wasn't even possible for me. When I started skating, I had really big trouble actually getting my front foot to rotate like this. So I'm gonna leave that at that one. The more convenient one would be the Mizou, which is having the back foot like this. And this one is probably the most like outwards facing trick. It's basically just as much as the sole is like leaning towards the spot, or like leaning towards the spot, the Mizou is like leaning away from the spot, or like your hips facing away from the spot. So if you do that, you could easily probably go on 9 o'clock on this one. 10 ideal. If you go 10 o'clock, you can go like down with your hips. Makes it way easier to hold the trick. Probably one of my go-to tricks when I started skating. Haven't done it lately so much. And then the other one would be the P-Star. Again, another movement that I couldn't do at first, but in my opinion, a high potential trick. Can look really good, has a lot of good variations. And again, here, your toes are facing towards the spot and your hips are naturally like, turning towards the spot as well. And that is basically it. Those are the 5 basic sole plate tricks. Whether you do them on a ledge or a rail doesn't matter. They both work exactly the same on each spot. Thing is, most people feel more comfortable on the ledge because if you miss the trick, you can always like go down, hold yourself. When it comes to jumping on the trick, I forgot to add this before. Try to jump a bit higher than the spot would be in order to like just slightly jump from the, like land from the top on the spot. So you don't want to like just make it from the side onto the spot, but you want to like be a bit higher and then aim from the top. This gives you specifically more control over your body position. It gives you more control whether also to decide whether you want to jump on the trick or not. You could also, like, if you jump higher, you could also just like leave it or have like one foot up or whatever. But most importantly, this is very important for me, is just if I jump a bit higher, I can make sure that I'm actually like exactly where I want to be. Like I'm exactly on top of the spot. You're not aiming for the edge, you're aiming for 2 or 3 centimeters onto the ledge. That way you can like fully lean in and try to hold the trick for as long as possible. Holding a trick on a ledge is way harder than on a rail. This is the big disadvantage of a ledge, but also it feels way more satisfying to hold a trick all the way through the ledge. One trick I haven't mentioned yet is the front side, which is just both feet like this. Takes least amount of aim because it's the most natural feeling trick. It's just exactly in the middle of your feet. There's no bending required of any sort. Make sure when you start doing this trick, go slow. Just try to find the groove. Try to find the balance, and also try to have your feet wide apart. I think when I started, I have it like this. Yeah, it's like I jumped on like with the sole purpose of not slipping away. This way you can. There's no chance of you like like having your feet slide away from under you. And that is basically it. Same rule applies to the rail, especially the one jumping a bit higher than the rail, jumping on top of it. That way you're always like very centered on the rail. On the rail you always want to make sure you go for the very center top part of the rail in order to be the safest and also the most consistent when it comes to your grinds. If you miss your trick while being centered over the rail, if it's a rail that is like this height, which is like somewhere on the shin, chances are you can save yourself like 99% of the time. Like you're gonna miss, but your body is like exactly over, like is exactly straight centered over the rail, so there's no slipping away, there's no like getting stuck or anything. And that is it. These are my basic tips and tricks. And most important thing is just to have fun. Also, don't worry about your arm movements at first. Even though shoulders and arms are important to the skating stance, style-wise and just technically in order to like make your tricks proper. At first, your arms are gonna imitate the movement of your feet. Don't worry about that, because when I started skating, I tried to do the P-star, and because my left foot was turning in like this, my left hand was going in like this. I think it took me 2 months to get rid of that. So I would always jump on like this. You would see people, if you do acids, go like this, because like your left foot goes out, left hand goes out. That's why the Mizou is the sole is usually the steeziest trick from the get-go, because you're basically like very inwards, and that's usually the very natural stance of it. So don't worry about that. It's gonna be, the more comfortable you get, the more you can relax your arms, or like have the arms be more in a like more convenient position, more benefiting position, if you will. And I think there's not much more to add. Make sure just have fun trying, take your time. It's gonna take a few hours, maybe even days, to just get the hang of it. And also, if you feel like you're not getting anywhere further, just take a break, sleep over it. Brain does a lot of work on like physical movement during sleep, especially during REM phases, so get a good night's sleep in between, and just do some repetitions. I've been doing this for 15 years now, 16 years now, and it's still a lot of fun just to do the basics. So just, yes, have fun, have a healthy approach of it. I have nothing more to add. Thank you for watching. Keep skating.